Hi everyone, today we're covering a new cheap handheld that's popped up on AliExpress called, well, it's already been referenced by all sorts of names. In the box we have it referenced as the Super Arcade Emulator, RetroPlay PS, and the Model M3s. I'll be referring to it later. On the console it's referred to the GAME Super Arcade Emulator by 3TH, but whatever it's called, it's a cheap handheld retailing at $20 and claims to play up to and including CP System 2 arcade games, or up to and including the SNES and Mega Drive console games. So let's see how it goes. The box isn't anything special, but aside from the console, there's an included 4GB micro SD card and AV out cable. Moving on to the console, from a design perspective, it's very similar to the portable Pandora or original Retro Pocket handheld, and is actually a very pleasant size in the hands. From the front, we've got the dPad, horrible slider-style analog that is pretty much unusable, and 6 action buttons alongside your start, select and home buttons. The dPad doesn't have much flex to it, only seemingly be able to handle one direction comfortably at a time before sinking too far into the case, and the buttons are stiff and just about passable. Aside from the controls, we've got a front-facing mono speaker and a badly applied screen protector over the screen. Underneath, we've got a scroll wheel for the volume control. On the right side, we've got the micro SD card, which is actually really accessible. You don't have to break a nail getting the SD card in and out, which is nice. And on the top, you've got the headphone jack and micro USB charger, which is strange to see nowadays. On the back, we've got a neat little gamepad logo that actually lights up while in use. And on the left side, you've got the power switch. Turning the M3s on, boot times are relatively quick and it's a pretty simple to understand front end. You've got what they call their home games at the top here, and the individual emulators along the bottom. Before we jump into the emulation though, it's worth jumping into the settings. In settings, you've got 2 submenus, normal setting and power setting. You can change your language from Chinese to English within normal settings, alongside checking your memory and resetting back to factory. Going back, we've got the power settings, where we've got some bizarre power saving settings. One for closing the screen and one for shutting down the console automatically after a set period of time. Mine was defaulted to auto shut down after 1 minute, which really confused me until I found this setting, which is why I thought it's worth just pointing out here. Okay, so on to the emulation. I won't give too much of a running commentary throughout the emulation, but as you can probably see, there's a bit of screen tear, and generally the Nintendo platforms perform very badly emulation-wise, while the non-Nintendo emulation platforms seem to emulate okay. Not amazing, but okay. So all in all, the M3s is a frustrating experience. With a bit more care and attention to the basics, primarily the controls, speaker and emulation, the M3s could have been a really good option for the super cheap entry level into emulation handhelds. The case feels like it won't snap in half, it sits comfortably in the hands, it's easy to put more games onto it, and the 6-button controls suit save and arcade games, which to its credit is where the M3s shines best. However, the god-awful dPad, ear-bleeding speaker, and poor emulation for the Nintendo systems especially, make the M3s a difficult recommendation. I'm hopeful for the future though. The M3s is at least a step up from the NES handhelds with 909 cloned ROMs that we've had in a similar price range for a couple of years, so I'm hopeful that in the cheaper end of the scene will continue to improve. That's it for now. Thanks everyone.